Yo, what up, street dogs? There came right the thought. This one is on creative metabolism. So, what is creative metabolism and what does it mean? So, I'm starting to think more and more that having the energy or the inspiration to be creative, it's less of like a mental state, it's more of a physiological state. So, for example, it's very hard for me to be creative or do any creative pastimes if I'm sleep deprived or I feel like shit or I haven't had my cup of coffee yet. And so it does seem that there's many different useful creative stimulants that could help us, make more art and stuff like that. So some basic ideas, coffee, lots of black coffee helps. I personally don't drink sugar, I don't smoke weed, I don't do alcohol because I just don't tolerate it well. I mean, at the end of the day, if it helps you, I'm like, whatever. I mean, I'm not one to judge, but I think it's easier to, in order to stimulate your creativity, better to have stimulants than depressants. And I'm always highly suspicious of artwork that's made too much dependence on, mind-altering drugs. So, obviously, there's a lot of rappers and artists who say they're more productive with weed, but I'm kind of in the camp of like Kendrick Lamar, Dr. Dre, and Jay-Z, who they're all actually quite suspicious of weed. They all say it kind of messes with your head in bad ways. And you don't want to be like Future the rapper, where you can't make any art unless you're high on syrup or lean, or Xanax, or all these other strange stuff. So I mean, even coffee in too much high doses ain't good for you either, but typically my rule is indulge in as many like stimulants as you want. Like I typically recommend natural substances like black coffee, green tea, matcha green tea, whatever. I'm also a big fan of 100% cacao powder, and water, obviously, black teas, whatever. The big reason why I don't trust synthetic stimulants is that it doesn't dose properly. So for example, if I took a caffeine pill, that would certainly be way too strong for me versus like just drinking a cup of coffee. And even I think like cocaine, right? Like the powdered stuff, it's just way too strong and potent for us because, I think if you just have cocoa leaves naturally, just kind of chew on them, it actually is like just kind of gives you a mild buzz, but it's only when you kind of pound it and stamp it out and you kind of make a uber concentrated form, it becomes bad for us. But anyways, so other things which has personally helped me, intermittent fasting throughout the day, and trying to prioritize my sleep time. I mean, even one thing that I've been doing is trying to wake up actually waking up early is overrated, but I think sleeping early is underrated. So I try to get into bed around like 8 or 9 p.m. nowadays. And even another thing I've been trying to do is just not bring any devices into the bedroom. And it seems like it's been working pretty well because even if I read a book and like I'm starting to even get suspicious of reading books on my iPad because there's something about screens which kind of stimulates you and keeps you awake. And actually I do think it takes more skill to sleep early than to wake up early, because anyone could set an alarm and force themselves to wake up early, but to sleep early seems much more of it requires much more discipline. So I think the easiest way to sleep early, to just reset your metabolic clock, after dinner, just don't watch movies, don't watch shows. I think the least bad thing you could do after watching dinner, if you want to stay stimulated, have a nice conversation with friends or family or whatever, or just read a paperback book. It seems like anything with the screen, it'll kind of keep you awake and keep you energized. I mean, this is actually my thought. If you actually want more creative stimuli, it's actually probably better to watch a TV show or a movie during the day in order to get your muscles moving, because when we watch movies and we see the visual kinesthesia, what that means is if the actors or the people on the show, if they're moving and they're active and stuff like that, it's actually going to inspire us to be active and move around. So that's the last thing you want to do when you're trying to go to sleep at night. So sleeping early is probably one of the best things you could do for your creativity and stuff like that. And yeah, just try to have the discipline to sleep early. Some other creative thoughts I have is yeah, I mean, when it comes to creative metabolism, the more muscle mass you have, the less body fat you have, the better for your creative outputs. Similarly, during the day, try to walk as much as you can, move as much as you can, and be outdoors as much as you can. Getting as much natural light, sun, fresh air is hugely advantageous to your creative spirits. And also, I'm a huge fan of taking cold showers. It's kind of like a positive shock to your system, which I've been a devoted cold shower devotee for like maybe the last 5 or 6 years, and I've had big success with it. And yeah, so and also if you just want to be creative, get a kettlebell or a chin-up bar at home or something, and just do a few reps, get a nice pump, and channel that pump into exercising and outpressing your creative energy and force. And if you do that enough, it seems like you're gonna get not only more physically and physiologically fit, but also more creatively and artistically fit.